Welcome.
Good afternoon. I'm President Domenico Grasso, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to what promises to be an enlightening conversation. On behalf of the University Musical Society and the Gerald R. Ford School of Public Policy, we are delighted to welcome Wynton Marsalis back to the University of Michigan. Wynton and the Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra have been coming to Ann Arbor for more than 30 years, with 28 performances since 1994. We have the University Musical Society to thank for this rich and enduring partnership. This includes a week-long residency in 2022 featuring concerts, engagement with K-12 students, activities on and off campus, and even a halftime performance with the Michigan Marching Band at Michigan Stadium. The following year, the university bestowed an honorary Doctor of Music degree upon Wynton, who was our commencement speaker. At that time, he told graduates, quote, "We desperately need your participation to silence the loud and messy divisiveness that has come to define our national life." His words have never been more relevant, and they reflect our mission to create an educated and engaged citizenry. This is our commitment as a great university serving the public good. Wynton's career personifies a devotion to engagement and change. At the age of 22, he won a Grammy Awards for both jazz and classical music, becoming the first to do so. He became the first jazz musician to win a Pulitzer Prize for music. The MacArthur Foundation has recognized him with a Genius Fellowship, and he has earned both the National Medal of Arts and the National Humanities Medal for his contributions to enriching the nation and its cultural traditions. For years, we have known Wynton as the managing and artistic director of jazz at Lincoln Center. Now, after 4 decades, he has just announced that he will be stepping down, but not before we can once again enjoy his remarkable talents. This weekend, he will perform twice under UMS auspices at Hill Auditorium. On Friday night, we will hear a rare performance of Wynton's Symphony No. 4 entitled The Jungle. The piece premiered in 2016 and has been performed only 3 times in the United States. Joining Wynton will be our own University Symphony Orchestra, an opportunity that reflects the life-changing education our students experience. Saturday night's performance, Duke in Africa, will honor Duke Ellington and compositions inspired by his historic 1966 trip to Senegal. And today's discussion will also look toward Wynton's next symphony, the Liberty Symphony, which he is writing for the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Today's conversation is one of the many activities planned by the university and UMS to commemorate the United States 250th anniversary. Many of our US at 250 discussions will take place at the Ford School, and we are happy to have Dean Celeste Watkins-Hayes here in conversation with Wynton. We appreciate her leadership and deep involvement in many activities that promote democracy, including the Initiative for Democracy and Civic Empowerment, the Resilient Democracies Initiative, and the promotion of conversations across differences. I firmly believe Michigan should be at the forefront of promoting and demonstrating democracy and civil discourse, and Celeste has played a crucial role for us. Please join me in welcoming Dean Celeste Watkins-Hayes and Wynton Marsalis, and forever go blue.
Well, good afternoon and good evening, and thank you to President Grasso for that generous introduction. It's such a pleasure to be here with you today.
It's my pleasure.
So I wonder if you can start off first, as the old folks say, as I lay eyes on you. I wonder if you can tell us, invite us in to where you are right now. How do we find you right now as we zoom out and you think about the world we're in, the country we're in, your day-to-day, and the way that you have been spending your time here at the University of Michigan? Bring us into where are you right now?
Well, the general condition of the country is a struggle. I'm in that generation of people who, after Martin Luther King was killed, I was integrated into a school of 3 or 4 black people, and it was a struggle. You had to endure a lot that we don't really even talk about it that much. But you always thought it was leading to something that would be greater. You believed in that. And then when the sacrifice became a lot, and in the environment we were in, it was violence too. It wasn't just being called names. You know, I would go on my mother's faith that there was an ascendancy in this proposition. And now that I see what has gone on, I know that there's an ascendancy in it. Many times we look at things that would take millennia, and we want them to take place in our lifetime, or xenophobia, and, separatism and sectarianism. These are things that have plagued the world. It's almost like that's the world's puzzle. Like if you are an alcoholic, or you are a drug addict, or you have whatever your thing is, a thing that you can control. Some things you cannot control. And your problem is deep enough, you could struggle with it your entire life and never conquer it. It does not mean that you failed. Many times someone say, I don't see how someone could. My father used to always say, you're right, you don't see it. So, I'm at my age and what I'm doing, my students always ask me, do you feel stupid? Because you're always talking about democracy when you see what this is. And I tell them, no, I feel stupid when I send y'all newspaper articles that you don't read.
Interesting. So you see the struggle as part of it. You don't see it as failure or
That's
reason
all I
for
ever saw was
despondency.
And also my great uncle, he was born in 1883. He grew up on a plantation. My great aunt, my grandmother, people struggled. My father's father started off as a sharecropper. So the thought that you shouldn't have to struggle continuously, whoever you are, not just black Americans, the thought that this should all be worked out. We have to do something. Let's work it out. And it's not fun. But maybe we're not down here just to have fun. Because people had fun on a plantation. But it wasn't doing the work they had to do. It wasn't dealing with what they had to deal with. And it wasn't the facts of everyday life. So if somebody says this is like it was then, they don't understand what then was.
Because then was horrific and extremely brutal and violent. But it's so interesting that you pull out the moments of joy, that even at the most difficult moments, people have been able to pull out, even in the face of violence and oppression, et cetera, those moments of joy.
I saw kids playing in the rubble of Gaza. And I looked at them, I said, damn, it don't mean they thinking we. But it's like we here. And I feel that we are so fortunate here, even those of us who struggle. My housekeeper for many years from Honduras, but she and I were extremely close. Not like, I go to her house on holidays. And she invented a dog that she had so that I wouldn't keep coming. I have a dog here. I don't want you to come. The dog is in there. The dog doesn't like people. So, but we joked, and we have, and she's retired. She still will come. And we would have very serious conversations, right? So she would talk to my mama too, and my mama was saying, look, she always tell her he worked since he was 8. She was telling him, and we were talking about people being poor. And she looked at me once and she said, people are not poor in this country. It's like I once asked my grandmother, what was the Depression like? And my grandmother looked at me and she said, we didn't notice it.
Wow.
So, struggle is the backdrop for many people. Life is difficult for many more than it's easy. And I think the broader your view is one of the things that my father taught more than anything was that one of our greatest classes we ever had with him is he would always ask us, what did you hear? And he would wait for you to answer it. So of course you didn't hear anything, so you just talk. And he would just go, and it made you feel stupid. Once he set up 4 chairs, 1, 2, 3, 4, and he would say, what do you see? Oh, we start saying what we saw, the ceiling, the floor, the ground. Each one of the 4 of us wanted to be number 1, to see the most. Did you look up high? Yeah, I see cracks in the walls. I see a clock. Everybody saying what they see. Okay, tell us, man, who won? Who saw the most? Then at the end of the thing, he kept asking us questions, goading us on, and he said, Does any one of you doubt that you're in the same room?
But you all saw different
We
things.
saw completely different
Completely different things. Completely different
And then he
things.
said that's what playing is like.
Yeah.
So the ability to hold thoughts that are opposites in your mind at one time, to develop your acuity over a lifetime, to understand that there are different points of view, and that is a mosaic.
And it's so interesting as I listen to you, your career in music. I mean, obviously, some of it is what you're exposed to, socialization. Your father was a musician, et cetera, growing up in New Orleans. But so much of it, as I listen to you, is the sensibility of your soul and how you see things, how things resonate with you. I can almost imagine now, I believe it must have been more of almost a gravitational pull towards artistic expression.
Yeah, I'm glad you put it in that context, because I really love the arts. I love reading. I loved poetry when I was young, and none of my friends were into that. But I was aggressive. I would be turning them on to it. Man, did you read this? So like normally you make a nerd feel bad about being nerdish. I wasn't like that. I was like, man, y'all dumber than these footballs we hold. You need to listen to this or that. You know what I mean? I was never outside of them in that way. So I was always a champion of a mythological. Why? I don't even know. It didn't just come from my parents. I saw my father play for no people. So it was the greatest education.
Because he was a jazz musician
He was a jazz
in New
musician
Orleans.
in New Orleans,
Yeah.
but he played modern jazz.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And he'd have like 3 people in the audience, 5, 8.
Yeah.
And I just, after years, and I started going to the clubs literally when I was 1. I grew up, I loved being in the club. I was always the only young person, you know, and there was always something wild that the 2 or 3 people were doing. So it's like
And the things
they
you
were
must have
inebriated.
seen, yeah.
Oh yeah, you know, it
And
was
your
something.
understanding of people.
And it was always, you know, and they always love a kid.
Yeah.
Because, you know, how'd you get in here? You know, they know you in here, kid. And then, you know, well, come here, son, let me corrupt you. You know what I mean? But all the kind of lies and stuff they would be telling, no, I had the greatest time. But I understood it was a struggle.
Yeah.
So when I decided I wanted to play jazz and learn how to play it, I took on that that's what it would be. I didn't know I would win awards and all of that. I only saw them. And I think the soul of it is all there is to it. You know, I say a prayer every morning. You know, and I'm saying this prayer. This year I really say it. In the beginning it says, Lord, from you all things, though we are many in life and death, we are truly one. Just the calling of your name releases us to perceive the oneness of all in all. I'm not going to go through the whole prayer, but you see where it starts with like a kind of, it doesn't start with a sectarian thought.
Yeah.
Right? For you have given us through your word the divine thought. And the divine thought is the divine manifestation, is holy action. Mighty is the healing of thy name, O Most High. May we shout it out in kingdoms, earthly and divine. Okay, I don't go around telling people it's prayer.
Yeah.
You know, I talk about whatever. It can't get too ignorant. I'll talk about that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the baseline on our lives is our soul. As you go internal of a person, there's less and less differentiation. Like if we didn't have if we went one layer below to our skeletons and cartilage, we wouldn't know who was who. Okay, let's say you could tell from the size. Then we went to the organs. Man, you're really struggling then. Yeah. Now we go to the connective tissues in the vessels. Now we're at the cellular level, molecular level. Then we get to spirit as one. And it's designed to be that way. That's why you go out to go in. I mean, you go in to go out.
Right.
You go in to go out. And the music, and the reason you know that is when you're born, you go in. And when you die, you go out. And all through your life, you're going in and out. You don't even know it.
Right.
But
You
you're
don't even
doing
think about it.
But you're doing it.
Yeah.
And all the universes are doing that. Everything is doing that. And it seems like mysticism, but it's not. It's fundamental. And fundamentals sometimes can be so foreign that they seem to be abstract, but they're not abstract at all. They're very rooted and real. And when you live in that realness, people treat you a certain way. You know, it's generally not with hostility.
Right. The energy that you bring to the music and the way that it is grounded in a particular understanding of our oneness, understanding of the soul and what the soul needs, understanding of history. Is there anything else you could have imagined yourself doing professionally? Or do you think you were called to do this and there was no other path? Did you think about a different path?
First, I'm thank you for the question, like the perception of it, because for me that's all there is. I didn't think I could make it doing this because of my father and musicians struggled and they could play. So I didn't. Anything I did, I would have been like on that type of vibration. You know, my mother and father were both that way about people and about life, and I always liked teaching. And my mother taught. My father was a teacher. Anything involving people and kids, I always was like even I would play ball with kids. It was like I was the coach of the kid teams of my age, right? It was crazy. Yeah. But one of the greatest lessons I had when I was playing basketball, the coach, I was the point guard, the coach stopped the rehearsal and he asked me, what is this player's numbers, rebounds? What is this? What is this? He went through the 4 positions that weren't my position. He asked me, what were people's numbers? Rebounds, points, assists, steals. I had no idea. And when he finished, he asked me, what is yours? Well, I knew what mine were. And when I told him mine was, he said, that's why you'll never be a good point guard. And he blew the whistle and said, let's go. Give me 10 suicides. Okay, so that was very brief, but it made me understand. You don't have a global understanding, son.
You didn't see the whole game.
No, you have no idea what it is. The only person you know, and the same thing applies to a jazz bandstand. Yeah. Do you know what anybody else played when you were not playing? Are you really listening to them? Right. And my father used to say, if you want to find something new to play, listen to the person next to you. So all of these are fundamental concepts that apply to everything, but they're very easy to lose track of. Right. It's like a policy, right? Policy for who? Absolutely. I love when people say the American people. Man, I've been up and down America for 47 years in cars. I don't know who the American people are. Who are they? I love when somebody talks for the American people. Well, American people don't want to know this. Well, the ones I know want to know it. Well, American people don't need this. Why do you know they don't need it? So a lot of these terms are not binding terms. Like the term Hispanic. There's a difference between somebody from Cuba and somebody from Mexico. Somebody from Mexico and somebody from Chile. Somebody from Brazil, and all these people are Hispanics. And understanding and respecting those particularities and those specificities, right? Yeah. The idea that we can be one, but also appreciate the specificity. Try to play their music. And be messing their music up. They let you know it's something. And they'll tell you immediately, right? People if they respect you, what are you playing, man? Yeah, people tell you. You know, what you don't know. That's American bossa nova. It's not bossa nova. What does this mean? Latin. It means doom, da-doom, da-doom. Don't play that. It means I cannot play. Yeah, yeah. So, you know. One of the things that I notice whenever we have an opportunity to talk is your movement from conversation of music to conversation about democracy. You're very bilingual in that respect. And I want to read a quote from you. When you talked about the history of the world and the great figures of the world are conquerors and often kill people and ruin civilizations. They enslave people, they raped and pillaged and murdered, and they're now famous in the world. The greatest conquerors have often said, we will destroy you. But jazz is the opposite of that.
We will elevate you. Let me share my space with you. Let me be quiet and let you talk. Let me leave space for your soul. We have a rhythmic section. The rhythm section is a body that accompanies you as you improvise. Now we have balance, and balance in that space, because all of a sudden I'm leaving space for you, but you can't take up all the space.
Right.
That in music, that in democracy as well. Why did you draw that parallel?
Well, because this system does not work if you're not educated in how it works. Mm-hmm. Jazz is the same way. Mm-hmm. This system is corrupted, so is jazz. This system needs reform, so does jazz. This system has a lot of space for individual freedom, so does jazz. But the collective space, which jazz has, is the one that has been the most corrupted and is the least known, so is democracy. Mm. And I think that the layered way you have to learn democracy, you have to start with the civics courses we used to have, where you would be city government. Then you'd be in elementary school, you would take a trip to your state capital. Then you would be learning state government. So you realize, oh, okay, the mayor and the city council is the governor, and you start to kind of work out the mechanics of the form of it. And then, if you were lucky, the federal government. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, none of us, we never went to Washington, but some people's schools would do that. But then by the time you get to the federal government, you have an understanding. Okay, these things work this way. And jazz, for you to actually be able to play, you have to learn what is the rhythm section, what do they do, what is the form, what are these harmonies, what can I play, what is the substance of the melodies I'm going to play, how do I play in time, what's the name of these grooves, how to play in these keys. And when you don't learn those things, then you start to become heavy philosophically. Mm-hmm. Right? Whenever you don't know, you have to begin to explain why you don't know it. And the less you know, it's a lot of explaining.
Yeah, yeah. Now I understand how democracy can be corrupted. How can jazz be corrupted?
I could give you any of 1,000 ways. It is corrupted, so it's easy to talk about.
Mm-hmm. How so?
Okay, let's take the dynamics of a rhythm section. You have drums, bass, piano. In the traditional rhythm section, a guitar. In the jazz rhythm section, the guitar is the softest instrument. Now, the drummers don't want to play soft. They want to play loud. At a certain point, they just start unburdening themselves. Hey, I can't hear the guitar. I don't really care. I can't hear the bass. I'm looking at them. I don't care that I can't hear you. I'm doing my thing, man. I'm enjoying myself. And y'all are here, too. Mm-hmm. Now, the bass players looked at that. They have calluses on their fingers, and their hands are hurting. Say, well, damn, I want to be heard, too. Mm-hmm. So they go and get an amp. They plug that amp in. Now, the softest instrument now is the loudest. And boy, those bass players are committing criminal acts with that volume. Because they've been sitting, waiting for 40 years to be heard.
Mm-hmm. And now they're
now
like,
I got
an amp.
Now
I
they're
got
like,
an amp.
boom, doom, 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 boom, 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 sad bass all over everything. Okay. Now let's take the horn players. In jazz, you play on a cycle. It's like a clock. You have the freedom to play as long as you want, because the cycles go around and around. It's a harmonic cycle of a song. Was the time when horn players would be kind, like, okay, we can play a little bit, but we don't. I have seen, okay, I've seen many times when a good rhythm section plays in a club, here comes 6 saxophone players, 3 trumpet players. And those 6 saxophone players will collectively play one song for 40 minutes. I'm not joking. It's funny, but it's for real. Now, the rhythm section has a thing that it does when they're ready for you to stop. So they're playing, doom, 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 and right before the top of the form, they go, doom, doom, doom. That's called breathing.
Right, so you're supposed to be listening for that as a message.
That's a clear message.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, now, there's the next rung of that, which is when that happens, the bass player lays out. Once that bass lays out, it's like, okay, you know. Now, then, eventually, everybody will lay out. Mm-hmm. I've seen moments of corruption that was so heavy that they're like, okay, y'all can all lay out.
Wow.
I'm getting to my thing.
Yeah.
And here's another example of corruption. There was an unwritten law of respect. Like if somebody like Frank West, a person who played it, basically one of the elders comes into play, they never play long. They play 2 or 3 choruses. You set the space for them. I saw with my own eyes a group of young saxophonists play 30 choruses on a song, and Frank West almost didn't get to play. And I was thinking, here's a guy 80 years old that's still in clubs. He has so much belief in jazz. He still is out here at night. He's at a jam session. And there's no, but he was okay. He was like, this is what this is. Now that's one type of corruption. Now there are other types of corruption. Like those who program you wish you were not jazz. They want you to be rock and roll. You're in a country that will regularly say the greatest band is a band not even from their country. If you're that stupid, what won't you believe? How 4 boys from Liverpool gonna tell you what it's like to be American? That's not possible. They may have a great band, but can you imagine the greatest Italian band was from Kenner, Louisiana? You can't imagine it. It's not imaginable. So this corruption makes its own rules. It makes up become down. I've regularly played at festivals of jazz headlined by people who don't play any jazz at all.
Wow.
Regularly, that's the norm. Anybody stand up with a horn, they're playing jazz. Then you, at that point, become the enemy. Because you're saying, man, let's not steal this money. Oh, man, here you go with that. Come on, man, let's steal this money. You know, it's very interesting. Corruption takes many forms. And one of the most important forms of corruption is get to the young early so that they no longer understand, hey, this is corrupt.
They just think it just
It's
is.
normal. It is.
It is.
It is. So, and we of course, it goes without saying in the way our government works. I mean, what can you say?
So how do you?
They're not even hiding it.
And let me ask you about that because in your commencement address, that's where we first met, 2023. You gave the commencement address here, and I encourage people to go back and listen to that address. Very, very powerful. And one of the things that really was at the forefront of your mind, and that I also hear in the conversation today, is the importance and the responsibility of platform. The platform that you have, the responsibility you take, and I think that this applies to democracy conversations, but also music, celebrity, et cetera, because you clearly understand the power of influence and how platforms very much shape that. And now we're in a moment where a lot of people have platforms for a lot of different reasons, and it can be hard to tell the signal from the noise. So can you talk about how you've thought about, first of all, what is your critique of the misuse of platforms? And then I'm going to ask you about how you've been very strategic about how you use yours.
Well, I think acuity. I like in all of the traditions where you have to know that who kisses a frog? Nobody's going to kiss a frog. But somebody looked at the frog and said, that's really a prince. Or I always loved the story of Solomon with the 2 prostitutes that argued over the baby. Well, cut the baby in half. Acuity is very important in this type of time. It was always important. We always think like this time, okay, it's more people talking, but people were never paying attention anyway. I joke with my students all the time about AI papers, you know. Say, this paper is just as poorly written as what you would have written, so don't worry about it. It's not better. It just, both of them would be sad. So it's okay. I'm playing with them a lot, you know, because they send me so much crazy stuff. They like to play a lot. But I like that too. So I feel like you have to always concentrate on acuity. To how can you discern? 2 things look the same. Like the old folks will say, the devil come as a friend. So sometimes they say, get back, devil. You know, the devil is fast. Up is down. And I believe in acuity more than limiting. Now, one thing I do believe is not suitable in our culture. I'm not a fan of pornography for kids. We missed the boat with that. And we have created, what were we thinking about?
In terms of the access and all of that.
I'm talking about light core porn, videos, how music videos, how musicians start looking good. We're always the ugliest people in the society. Now all of a sudden you're a musician, you look good like a model or something. Damn, you play music? Did you spend any time practicing? I mean, we just have made a leap exploiting our young people and exploiting disposable income. When everything is for sale and money is your value, it's very difficult to maintain values. So I like how the use of words are, like the words are progressive jazz. It's always like, what's progressive about this? A credit default swap. I like these words, like, damn, a default is good, his credit is good, the swap, am I losing? What is this? So the words are always, the words of corruption always show you how to look into the opposite space. I love the president said he's going to nationalize the elections. It's not about him. I make that clear all the time. Never look at one person. Look at the 370 million. Don't look at that one person because it doesn't. Did he start the corruption? He's just better at it. They've been corrupt for a long time.
How does it happen in this environment and ecosystem and all of that?
Enough people allow it to happen.
Yeah.
Like how many people looked at lynchings?
Yeah.
A lot. And there were a lot of lynchings. Men, women, children, they looked at it. Right? You always hear about Nazi Germany. Yeah, Kurt Mazur was the conductor of the New York Philharmonic. He's the reason I started to write orchestral music. He goaded me and teased me. His son was a trumpet player. Are you afraid to write for the New York Philharmonic? Friend, every time I see him at Lincoln Center, this is Wynton. He's still afraid to write for the New York Philharmonic. He's still scared to write for the New York Philharmonic. Finally, after I met him in '89, so in 10 years, I took to kind of develop just enough technical skill to do something passable. I said, I think I could do something now. At my meeting with him, he said, I was a Nazi soldier. Wow, so I'm like, I was in Hitler Youth. I never heard that from a person. So I was like, he had my attention. He said, why does the New York Philharmonic not do anything with Afro-Americans or anything substantial? Something that has meaning, that Bernstein was trying to do and some of my predecessors were trying to do. We never do any of that. What is it in this country that y'all are doing? I said, man, this system works. It's a certain way. So I'm not going to pretend you inside of it. You see it. He said, friend, let me explain something to you that you have not maybe been told about the wartime Germany. Because you have been told it's because people were poor. That's not why. You've been told people did not know. We all knew. He said, if a man sleeps with his neighbor's wife, next week the entire village knows. You think you could kill that many people and no one know? Everyone knew. He said, let me leave you with one other thought, friend. There was a lot of cheering. People cheered for it. Then he said, you don't think it could happen here? It could very easily. And in the case that you know of, it already has happened. So the conversation with him was so serious. I thought, okay. I just looked at him like, okay, maestro. He said, I want you to write something that is about people coming together. Because it was something I believed, and my father believed, that it's works that bring you together, not talking. Hey, let's build this bridge. Let's work on this house. Let's develop a lower class economic infrastructure. Let's do something meaningful to this. But that was a heavy meeting for me because of his honesty, his directness,
And he was basically calling you to think about what will you do with your platform and what will you do with your gift and your hard work and your skill.
yeah, and I think I got off I started to think about him. I got off the question you asked me, but I think your platform is wherever you are to be. All of life is local. I know younger people spend a lot of time online and they think people like them because they put a like on something, or they think, a lot of times if you can be likable to a certain group, they like you. If you're not likable to them, they don't like you. So, but I think institutions should be different. I feel like when you see the United States government shaking institutions down, institutions that have billions of dollars of endowment that's not used for education, but as collateral for education. Use your endowment when you're being shook down. You're not a bank, so, but it's not just, and it's not just the institutions. That applies to us. When people put pressure on you, what do you do? Mm-hmm. It's easy for me to tell you hey, you need to be doing this. Okay, well, you do it. Then all of a sudden, it's, well, I got a family, or, well, I have considerations, well, okay. That's how that corruption takes root and hold, and we're years in. Mm-hmm. We're decades into this, centuries into it probably. And if you take all of human history, it's a struggle.
And how have you thought about your willingness to take those risks, to speak out, to use artistic expression in ways that challenge people, that push people, to use your voice?
Well, I've been fortunate.
Yeah.
Like Rodney Whitaker's a great bassist, teaches at Michigan State. But I knew him when he was a kid, so he's mentored a lot of musicians. And, we were joking around, we were talking. He said, man, you're just lucky that you could talk all that kind of stuff and keep your gigs. If
right.
This had been 1954, you'd have said that you'd have been at home with your daddy. So, I never want to take for granted that the amount of pressure that's on me. Okay, I got bad reviews the whole time. So what? I played gigs, and I was able to stay in front of people. I don't know how I would have responded to real risk. And I never put myself in a position, somebody like Medgar Evers or someone who was going to get killed. Like, there are people out here who, I wouldn't disrespect them with that. I've been able to play, talk to people, speak my mind, play gigs. And I never really wanted that much. When I didn't have nothing, I would turn stuff down because I saw my father, they didn't have nothing really. But according to my housekeeper, they had a lot.
Right.
She said, you ever sat in some people's house just so they could look at you and say, can you give me something to do so I can get some bread or something to eat? You ain't do that. I said, no, I didn't do that. I'd just go to the store and steal some bread. She said, yeah, there was no bread in the store. So, we have to always be cognizant of when we self-aggrandizing about what we would do. I have never been in that position.
When you think about taking all of your ideas and moving it into the music, so you're working on the Liberty Symphony, America at 250. So the idea of moving all of these ideas from the early conversation we had about your soul and your historical grounding and your family and your observation traveling all over the world and thinking about, how do I communicate this in music? First of all, what's your process? Because, my main process as a writer is, I read, I study, and then I sit down at the computer. What is your process?
Well, I sing voice notes.
Okay.
So, matter of fact, I'll show you. I'm glad you all can't see this. So first I write an extensive outline of what I want it to be. And then I deal with the symbolism of the music. Like in American music, we have symbols, right? Like an example of a symbol would be the sound of a Celtic fiddle reel, the syncopated sound of ragtime, the train, which is a metaphor for freedom, literal freedom, leaving one place going to another, metaphoric freedom, leaving the south going to the north or the east going to the west, and metaphysical freedom, the glory train is going to take you to heaven. So I always have trains, and I grew up down the street from it. I grew up between a railroad track and the Mississippi River. So
Yeah.
I think about the symbolism of water, like the mighty Mississippi. We just went in Iowa, we passed the Mississippi. I always think about the same Mississippi I lived in Kenner, Louisiana, is in Iowa. And Louis Armstrong was playing on riverboats, and he met Bix Beiderbecke on a riverboat. And as young people, they were teenagers. So I think about what is the meaning of a march, the symbolism and the optimism of it, all the John Philip Sousas. I once played in a band with all World War II era veterans, because my band director was from that time. And I was certainly the only brother in there. And all they played was John Philip Sousa music. And I didn't want to do it. I was doing it for him. I was like, man, I'm the only brother. Y'all all 50 years older than me. I learned more from the feeling of them in the room playing that music. Man, they were serious about playing that. It wasn't the greatest band, but the intention was the greatest. So the feeling of that music, a piccolo and a drum, the sound of the blues. What is a blues whine, a moan? The use of blues harmony. As a drum rhythm, Geechee rhythm. There's the flautist named Otha Turner plays taka 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 it's like New Orleans music. The meaning of New Orleans symbolically as a crossroads of culture. New Orleans counterpoint, trumpet, trombone, and clarinet playing. Different types of two-beat grooves that are regional, like what Willie Nelson calls a whiskey two-beat, right? All these different musicians have different ways they perceive things, or high society too.
Yeah.
The difference between a one-step, a foxtrot, or a two-step. What is a backbeat? Like a funk beat that we played, or a straight-up backbeat like what rock and roll featured when it made the 70s transformation from the shuffle rock and roll. The meaning of a shuffle. Our music has a lot of symbolism in it, but no one talks about it in those terms, and very few people know it. So for me, I've spent my life studying it. What are our folk songs? What are the Anglo traditions? Then what is the Afro-Latin music? That's another whole world in the Americas. I've been fortunate to play with Carlos Enriquez. He's of Puerto Rican ancestry. He's Puerto Rican American, but he has encyclopedic knowledge. He's always saying, "Are you Pepe now?" Whenever I play something you don't like, hey, Pepe Marsalis. So he's taught me younger. He came to my house when he was 14, but I've learned from him. This means this, or this has to be this, or this Coscar has got to be played this way, or listen to this record. So but yeah, I put those things always in my music.
Okay.
The church, what does that church rumble mean? What does it mean to play sanctified? Triad, the use of triads in the church. So yeah, I could go on and on, but if you don't.
But all of those different sounds.
So if you look at this is the Liberty Symphony, which I have not written, but this is all me singing stuff.
And it's all in Apple Notes, just different Apple Notes.
Right, it's all, I mean, that's 70 minutes of me singing stuff. See how much of that? That's why people are always asking me to do less. My entire life, that's been the one question I've been asked. Can you do less than you did? Can you cut this? Why you walk around with books?
But it's like a running conversation in your mind, and you're putting it into these notes, and then you pull it.
Well, it's not, I check
All
out
these
everybody's,
different
Bernstein's music,
Yeah.
Copeland, all of the American music. Of course, I knew Bernstein, I loved him. And I know about his thesis, what he thought. I would talk with him. I talked with Gunther Schuller, people of all the jazz musicians, Dizzy. And I was able in the conversation to get an understanding of what they felt American music was. And then with the people of my generation, of course, and younger people, because I'm fortunate to teach so many great young people. If you read some of the stuff they write me, boy, they're disrespectful. But I learn more. I just open the feed up to them and tell them something they don't like. And I just they say, listen to this, or do this, or check this out, or did you think about this? And something my father always told me is, consider what people tell you. Consider it. Like, don't, they could be 13, they could tell you something. Damn, I never thought about that. So I'm always getting information from the heavens, and then also with music is a mystical thing. Like, it comes to you. You don't control whether it comes to you. So my whole life I've been cognizant of not doing something to mess my stream up. Like, if you violate certain things, you don't get your stream. So you have to be very careful.
So how do you protect your stream?
By trying not to be small. I fail, but I try. My oldest son is always messing with me. So once I was cussing a cab driver out, and he was like 11, and he looked at me and he said, "Is that the humanity you're always talking about?"
Oh.
So whatever.
So when you mean not be small, not just I want to be ambitious, but I want to be good.
No, yeah, don't be small. Yeah, don't.
I want to do right.
Don't betray your gift.
Yeah.
You got to accept your gift, and you have to.
Yeah.
As you grow older, you have to become more humble. In fact, because you can't learn, you start to think you had solutions, but you really didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I have so many great friends that I talk to, and I have such good conversation with them. Like I tell my students sometimes, one of my greatest friends, a person I love to talk to the most, is Paul Simon. Now we're both left-handed. Like you wouldn't believe it. We shock each other because musically, you know, there's a lot of stuff we don't know. But we have so much in common. Like his father was a musician. He grew up in clubs checking out the Afro-Latin music. If I sit down and talk with him, he will say something that I was talking about that day. It's a spiritual thing. We're arguing about the significance of Elvis Presley. I was saying, man, I don't care nothing about Elvis Presley, man. He's corny. Mississippi white boys played okay, sang okay. And he looked at me and he said, when were you born? I said, 1961. He said, okay. He said, well, you know, you played like the 70s, Stevie Wonder, funk era. Yeah, I understand. If you were a white guy from Queens in the 1950s, Elvis Presley would be a god, but you aren't.
Sitting in the same room, different chairs. You
see,
don't see
you know
it,
that.
but he does.
Yeah, but what I love about how he does it is that's what he says, but you aren't. No follow-up, no. And once we were he wanted to meet Lee Konitz, a jazz musician, older than him, play with Miles Davis. I said, nah, man, he's gonna probably be disrespectful, man. I don't want to introduce you to him. Man, introduce me to Lee. Nah, man. Now then I was 42, Paul was 62, and Lee was 82. Okay. Man, I'm not gonna introduce you. Man, introduce me to Lee. Okay, man. Lee, this is the great American songwriter, Paul Simon. Lee, of course, like, yeah, okay, man. So I started laughing. Of course, it's funny, you know. So Paul looked at me. I'm like, man, I told you. So he goes, how old is Lee? I said, oh, Lee is 82. He said, it was age appropriate.
His reaction.
So, you know, I mean, a lot of times when you're lucky, they have like good, and we can also have very heated conversations, like very. And our friendship survives the truth. So that I've had that chance, you know, Stanley Crouch, my good friend, he passed away, that I could know people like him, Albert Murray.
This kind of community of interlocutors. And it's like scholars. It's like we have a scholarly community of people that we share ideas with the musical community. Okay, so let me ask you a question. I just saw the movie Sinners a couple of months ago, Academy Award nominated film. And I don't know if you've seen it, but it's really powerful in terms of the conversation about music, musical influence. When does it become exchange? When does it become exploitation?
Well, I believe business people can exploit music, but I don't believe a musician can do that. We all learn from everybody. Nobody owns something because they had died. Now, you could steal a person's song, but the sound of the blues belongs to everybody. Now, the interesting, Michael B. Jordan's mother brought him to me when he was in high school.
Get out of
and
here.
said, hey, could you mentor my son? And boy, Donna makes the best rum cake. I look, y'all are laughing. I swear I'm not lying. When this woman sends you a cake, it never survives the day that you open it. Okay, we're laughing, but it's not funny.
It's that good.
And she won't
Yeah.
say nothing about what, what it is. But when you take, of course, I've watched him the entire time, and I love when my young people, just him, he was always like a good dude, soulful, like always, like just wanting to be great, wanting to work on stuff. And really, I love what his mama wanted for him. His parents was like, so yeah, with Sinners and what they're trying to do, what they're saying about the blues and, the movie, the plot, but you can't, this whole thing about appropriating music, a business person can appropriate something and steal it and not give you rights for a song, but how you gonna appropriate an English hymn? I mean, the central chords of the blues is an amen cadence, and that existed long before the blues existed. Every time somebody writes an amen cadence, they gotta pay somebody for plagal cadence. I mean, I don't believe in all of that. If you can play, you appropriated it. And if you play good enough, the one who should have made it up. And that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Like it's just there's a fact to stuff.
Yeah. We could go all night, as you can see, with me asking questions, but I want to lift up some of the questions that came from people who were in the audience who were able to send in questions ahead of time. And before we go to that, I wonder if you want to say a little bit about your time here at the University of Michigan and the work that you'll be performing, Duke in Africa, and why that selection, what does it mean to you? And for those of us who are going to have the pleasure to hear it, what do you want us to be thinking about? And you can answer the same question for the jungle too.
Well, not just
as we hear from you in the next couple of days.
Yeah, with UMS, my relationship, it goes back so far, so many years. We did so many things with Ken Fisher, just starting with where we would go in the community, recruiting people, trying to teach, get young people involved. Ken and I were on a call for a guy named Doug Wheeler. It was a Zoom call. Doug Wheeler worked in Washington, WPAS, Washington Performing Arts Society. Now, I'd known Ken 30-something years, now he's, of course, retired from here. But Doug was one of my first mentors, like a presenter, where in 1980, 81, when I was 20, 21, he would say, hey, man, let's go talk to these people to get some kids from the community to come to the Kennedy Center. Let's go. He would make me, man, come on, man, I can't, come in and learn how to do it. Now, Doug is in his 90s now. On the call for Doug, who's on there but Ken, saying Doug was my mentor. So it's like a cycle. I've been here so many times. It's more of a spiritual thing. And I always say about this place is Michigan should figure out how to teach all the colleges around this country how to get their younger people involved in the arts. It's an unbelievable flaw in our country. When Matthew Van Beesen and I were talking, he said he had the chance to come here. I said, man, that's an upgrade from wherever you are. And I meant it. I was not, hey. I was not joking because the spirit here and also the size of Hill is such a large place that you can get the type of student participation you get and bring the type of people that you've brought. The quality of the orchestras that come in, the theater, everything is on the highest level, and the students participate. It's a miracle, and it's been a miracle across these 40 years I've been blessed to come out here. So my relationship with the university is real. Is rooted in years and years of playing and being in this community. I told a story once, it made me tear up before we were playing the piece All Rise, which is the piece that Kurt Mazur, actually, I wrote for them. One of the young people in the orchestra came to me right before we were about to play and showed me a picture of me with two kids, and they were spilling out of my arms, and the mama was trying to grab one of them, and he pointed, they were like, 7 and 8 years old. He said, that's me. I said, damn. I still get full. Just think of just the action of it, just the nights of contributors and donors and people who have been a part of the building the community and of kids and of parents and of teachers and students. You can't take this for granted, and I certainly don't take it for granted, mainly because of my upbringing and my father and all of the, but also even sitting here talking with you, with the first conversations we had. You think I don't remember, but I do. and just the quality of your questions, your enthusiasm, just what it is. It's the what it is of it. It's for real, you know. So thank you, and I thank the university, because it's been a hallmark for me in my life. It's true.
With much appreciation, with much appreciation. So I wonder, as we talk about some of the questions that we've gotten from the community, we have a lot of student questions.
Great.
And what I hear in the questions are them grappling with a lot of the same things that you've grappled with. And the first question is something I know you've been asked so many times, but I think it's so important, and I want you to be able to give a word, as they say, to the person who's wondering, what advice would you give to a young person in music to stay connected to one's passion in creating music, even when the possibility of pursuing this is not profitable?
You know, that's the age-old question. You know, when I was graduating from high school, my grades were pretty good, so my teachers were saying, "Oh, don't waste your mind on music." The South, they don't respect. They only respect the New Orleans Saints. Yeah, they didn't respect. Culture to us is the Saints. Okay, that's reality. And my mom was like, "Man, you go into music, you're gonna struggle like your daddy did. You know, though, this is a struggle." So I used to ask people, "Man, you think I should go into music?" "Man, there ain't no money in this. Don't go into this." So I asked my daddy, "Man, should I go into music?" He said, "Man, I only got one word of advice for you. Don't have nothing to fall back on." And I just looked at him and I said, "Man, you've been out here struggling with no money all these years, all these kids, and you telling me don't have nothing to fall back on? Is that an act of sabotage?" But I think if it's your passion, it's your passion. And you can play music and get in front of people and be useful to your community, whatever level you play it on. Be for real about it. And go everywhere you can play. Man, I've played every kind of place, from prisons to cancer wards to. And some of the deepest stuff you learn is when you don't get to play. I would go through the cancer ward for kids and play Sloan Kettering. And once I went to a room and they said the kid does not want anybody playing music. And you know, it was sobering, but I understood that. So with music, music travels. It's everything from something at the kitchen table to something at night to a lullaby to a picnic, a parade. Make it be that for you. Make the music practical. And you know, my friend Todd Barkin was booked jazz for many years, so he knows what it's like to go bankrupt dealing with jazz. He always said, take care of the music and the music will take care of you.
And the music will take care of you, yeah.
So I think if it's your passion, let it be your passion.
Yeah. And it's so interesting that you say that, because one thought that also came to mind is not only the passion, but what music gives you in terms of that thing to hold on to within your soul. Because you talked about at the beginning of our conversation this prayer that you say that holds you, but I also think about music that I sing that holds me, right? In the deepest of the moments.
You gonna sing something for us?
I'm not going to. I'll tell you what I sing. I mean, I sing often gospel music, of just having, you know, grown up in the church.
Well, let's hear a little bit of it.
No, oh gosh. I don't feel no ways tired. And I'll just walk through the house singing No Ways Tired. I know that was terrible, but.
That wasn't terrible.
Thank you, but.
Had a nice vibrato.
I'm on stage singing with Wynton Marsalis, y'all.
That was good.
But that, the power, yes, the profit is important. Yes, you've got to be able to live. But there's something very, very special about being able to produce that.
Or just to play
and
with
create that for people and embed that in
Right.
people.
But also, it doesn't have to be serious, right? Like if anybody around me, my kids always have songs for them. And they always say, well, what's my song, right? And it's always some silly song. My daughter, Oni, I would always sing to her when I take her to school. My little mommy is sweet to me, my sweet little mommy in the mommy tree. Where's a mommy tree? Not, you know.
Yeah.
My little mommy is a sweet, sweet honey. Oh, Lord, mommy got a friend named Sonny. Then, when she became a teenager, she woke up bad, with a bad attitude. So when she wake up in the morning, I would go, there she is, draped in beauty and splendor. Right? And my other son, Simeon, I go, the great blue hammers go bumpty bump. I say, the great blue hammers. My housekeeper, Anna Castillo, I say, Anna Castillo. And she go, woo-hoo. I say, did you hear the one about Earl Anna? You know what I mean? I make up stupid songs and I sing them all the time to people. Or beats or rhythms or music is, I mean, it's fun. You just clown and play with it.
There's literally a question on here. Do you sing in the shower? And if so, what songs? It's a perfect time to ask that.
I'm not a shower singer.
You're not a shower
Normally,
singer.
I'm rushing to go to a gig.
Okay.
So, but I mean, I'm singing all the time. If I'm messing with people, which I like to do, I'm teasing them with some kind of song, you know.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite song to play?
No, I like all the songs.
Okay.
You know, to be honest with you, I played so many great songs and pieces. It's some iconic great songs that I respect as songs, like Stardust and Lush Life or Sophisticated. They're great songs, but I like to play blues.
Yeah.
If I have my pick of what's the greatest
really?
song,
Okay.
it's always the blues.
Okay. If you could, worked with so many amazing musicians. If you could go back in time and play with a musician that was before your time, who would it be?
Man, I mean, there's so many great ones. I don't know. It's something that I wouldn't want to play with them, but I would want to listen to them. I don't want to play with them because they might look at me like, man, what are you doing?
I think you could hold your own.
I mean, in jazz, of course, all of us, it's like Louis Armstrong. Everybody who knew him loved him so much. I mean, Dizzy Gillespie moved to be around the corner from Louis Armstrong when he was in his 40s. So you got to think, damn, Louis Armstrong was that great? I said, but you already Dizzy. He said, man, that was Louis Armstrong. Like I was crazy.
Wow.
Man, do you know who Louis Armstrong was? I guess the musicians you've heard about, I would say probably Beethoven's playing, because you only have people talking about it. But you got to figure if he wrote that much, just his playing must have been. Because people say when he played, it was like the piano started crying.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, there's so many great, the Western musicians are documented, but you can believe it was, I mean, people who could play across all times, who had sounds that could
So
break
many
people's
people.
hearts.
Yeah.
And it's great people, you know what I mean, just who have that spiritual connection that can touch you. If I could play in any band, I think I would want to play in Count Basie's band in the 30s. Now that meant you had to be in the Great Depression.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my mentor, Sweets Edison, played in that band.
Yeah.
And he was one of the most soulfulest people you will ever meet, ever. And I met him when I was 14. And I stayed in touch with him his entire rest of his life. And he gave me more good advice. He just the way he played on these records. He plays on all Frank Sinatra records, Billie Holiday. He's known for playing real pithy, kind of, not the opposite of how I play. I play fast and stuff. He told me once after I was woman, he said, damn, baby boy, you just played more notes than I played my entire damn career. You know, the man was so soulful, you know. I miss him. Like sometimes you miss people that pass away. I just want to call him and say, hey man, you heard this new record we put up? Now why in the hell would I listen to that? You know, just him, who he was.
And these connections you've had to people.
Yeah.
So I want to close with asking you about jazz at Lincoln Center. And President Grasso reminded everyone that you've announced that you're stepping down. I wonder if you can talk about this chapter. It's been a long chapter. What was it that inspired you? And then as you bring it to a close, what do you hope your legacy will be?
Well, because I was always 20, worked with people in their 70s and 60s, I really knew the difference between a person who was in their 20s and the 30s and in their 20s and the 40s, or in their 20s and the 50s. Those people were very different. The Great Depression people were very different from the World War II people. I mean the 20s, 20-year-olds, like kind of young adults. Very different from the rock and roll era, kind of suburban resegregation of America group, different from the 60s. Like when you played with Chick Corea and Herbie Hancock and the musicians from the 60s, they were much more flexible and open. The musicians from the 30s were much more sharing and caring about each other. So I could go on and on about the age differences. But I was always under a lot of really older people who I respected and loved. But at a certain point, I could have worked more for them if they'd have just let me work for them and got out the way.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in my younger people's way because I love them, and a lot of them are great. And I tell people all the time, this one can play, or this one is great, or this one is that, or this one. Yeah, but okay, I got publicity when I was young. The people who were in their 20s, in the 1930s and 40s, they were in the 40s, they were in their 60s, so their parents remembered jazz. Now, nobody remembers when people could play. So you're going uphill the whole way anyway. And I just, it's just that time to just let them do their thing. We have so many education programs. We have so many great younger people. And our institution needs a new vision. It needs a new, but the challenge for us is how to have a new vision without selling it out. A lot of times in our country, to be new means to give you less and charge you more. So I want to see my people with the most integrity stand forward and create even more disturbance and more bad reviews for the next 50 years from lightweight liberal critics that are fraudulent, you know, in their intention and in their understanding. It's time for younger people to enjoy that fight because it's fun.
Fight that. Yeah.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
So, and we have the people around us. Our older people are invigorated. I mean, we were young on our board. We're in our 30s. Now we're in our 60s. I look at my board, and the oldest of us are us. You know, we're like, man, we were here we've been there a long time.
Yeah.
And we're trying to turn it all of us are talking all the time. Like, let's steward this well. Let's figure out how we can leave and do the opposite of what Joe Biden did.
What do you think, how do you think about expansion in terms of audience, connection, generation? There was a question where a person said, I love classical jazz, but I struggle with some of the more contemporary things, and I'm struggling to find my way listening to it, et cetera. Like what are some ways we can think about how we engage?
You know, it's like if I tell you, I would like you if you just could not be yourself.
Yeah.
Man, you know, can I be, I mean, how much of myself do I have to not be? Well, your rhythm section can't play jazz. But my rhythm section is the heart of what I play. I can't. Once they stop playing jazz, I'm not playing jazz. They define the music. Well, who defines it anyway? Like the thought is always some trash. What difference does it make what the definition of it is? Whatever we say it is. So I think, yeah, the question is how can you expand with who you are? There's always a way to expand. Put some pornography on something, sell some drugs, gamble. You can expand, not hard. Get a producer who don't know nothing about music and plug that algorithm in. And then do that. You know, so my thing is always don't take the achievement out of it. Make it hard for yourself. Because it's more fun.
And perhaps challenge the audience. Would you say that?
Yeah, I think we just need a lot of education. Like I just don't. Like the first time I listened to classical music, my mama took us to a classical concert. And I like to tell this story just because of what it was. Now, we're like a black family living in Kenner, Louisiana. I will guarantee you we're the only of any family in the 1960s that went to a single symphony concert. I'll guarantee that. We had all our clothes from the Sears catalog. Man, we looked so country. We walked up in there, and my mama didn't like classical music. She just, well, I should take you children to this, you know. My dad was working. Man, me and my brother, we was like, man, damn. We looking at the orchestra, we say, well, there's only one brother in the orchestra, you know. And my brother said, yeah, and he playing flute. So he ended up being an unbelievably great guy named Richard Harrison. Okay, I knew him, and later I played with the orchestra. But that night, I was like, man, you know, damn, do we belong here? Like, but the fact that I looked at her and I said, man, I know she don't want to be up in here. And I looked at her, she was, she was up there putting on her best, I'm following this, look. And it's something about that, it meant something to me. So when I started to listen to the music, I started to listen to it. You know, my father was always saying, check this out, man, check the Beethoven Symphony out, or listen to some of Mahler's music. So I think for the audience, we have to, like, people have to be exposed to something some kind of way.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to just, I never blame the audience, you know. Yeah, I want them to, but, I mean, we got to bring people into stuff. And I've tried my whole life to, how can we bring people into stuff? How can we bring them into how great music with a development section is? How can we? And I think it's on us to do that. It's our field.
And it goes back to, as we close, that song I sing, I don't feel no ways tired.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've come too far
Yeah.
from where I've started
Talk
from.
about it.
Yeah.
You know, the old folks do. You know, we didn't come a mighty long way, but we got a long way to go.
A long way to go.
And it's okay to have a long way, because we came a long way.
We have. Your future is so bright. And I just want to thank you for this conversation. I want to thank you for this next chapter that you are going to have. I want to thank you for being here at the University of Michigan. I want to thank you for all that you bring to this present moment, all the wisdom and the stories and the people and the brilliance. We are honored to be in your presence, and it has been a joy to be in conversation with you.
I feel that about you.
Thank you.
You're talking to yourself.
Please join me in thanking Wynton Marsalis.
You're talking to yourself. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank y'all so much. Thank you.
So we want to thank you to the University Musical Society and Matthew Van Beesen. Where is Matthew? Matthew makes so much of this important work happen. Please, let's give a hand to Matthew wherever he is. We know he's in the house somewhere. So just a reminder, Wynton Marsalis and the Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra will perform Symphony No. 4, The Jungle, with the University of Michigan Symphony Orchestra on Friday at 7:30 and Duke in Africa on Saturday at 7:30. So both concerts are at Hill. Please join me in another round of applause. Thank you for being with us tonight. On behalf of the University of Michigan, have a great evening. Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.